Well, what you have out here, I mean, I think there was a couple cheetahs. They've since gone to the other side of the habitat. We've got 7 cheetahs out here on the habitat right now, and we're going to be doing demonstrations throughout the day. It's usually 4 to 6 times a day we'll be out here demonstrating their speed, but there's also a variety of other interactions we're playing for our animals.
Oh, okay. I noticed earlier when the cheetahs were up here by the glass, they were making like a bird chirping noise. Why do they do that? Is that like when they're a fully grown adult, do they still do that?
It's an interesting sound. Unless you really know what a cheetah sounds like, you'll look around and look for a bird in the tree, but that's actually one of the sounds that the cheetah makes. It sounds like a chirping bird. They don't roar or growl like a lion or a tiger. They chirp and they purr. So they have some distinct sounds known just for cheetahs.
The funny thing is, I was actually looking for a bird when I heard that.
I just heard one too. If you listen real close as they come up to the glass here, the chirping sound is one of the ways that they'll call the other cheetahs, and they identify where the other cheetahs are at.
Okay. You guys are known for your animals. What went into choosing cheetah hunt and cheetah run versus some other animal like, a lion or any of the other animals that you guys have in the park?
Well, we haven't had cheetahs at Busch Gardens for close to 30 years, and a cheetah is such an iconic animal. When people see a cheetah, what do you think of? You think of speed, you think of big cats, and we thought, what a terrific animal to bring in for our guests to learn about conservation, to learn about these animals. And that's one of the things we really want our guests to walk away with, is an understanding a little bit more about cheetah conservation in our natural environment.
Speaking of conservation, you guys plan to, maybe not now, but in the future, do you guys plan to breed the cheetahs? I've heard it's pretty hard to breed them in captivity.
That is part of our plans. Cheetahs can be somewhat finicky, just like most cats can be. At Busch Gardens, we are part of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, AZA, and it's zoos that are accredited through that association. We have what we call an SSP, Species Survival Program. And in this SSP are about 250 cheetahs in this whole conglomeration of all these zoos. And what we do is we look at the cheetah population in North America as a whole. Mm-hmm. And these animals here at Busch Gardens will be included in that group.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. When the coaster's running during the day, how does the ride noise affect them? Or even to cheetahs that maybe aren't out, that are, resting in their home, how does that noise affect them? I know it's a pretty quiet coaster, but I mean, you can still hear it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we're very sensitive to that. And when we were designing Cheetah Hunt and Cheetah Run, that's one of the things we took into account when we designed the habitat as well as the ride. And as you mentioned, the ride itself is very quiet. Well, that was one of the aspects that we wanted to put into the ride, is make sure we had a quiet ride because it was very close to an animal display. Other components that we put in here, you'll see all the big pillars that are around this ride. Mm-hmm. Those are all, they're actually filled with a sound deadening material to make sure it's not a loud ride. So the animals, as you watch them out here and when you watch the coaster go by, they're very, very comfortable around it. And that's part of the training we take pride in here at Busch Gardens as well. We make sure that the animals are used to all these variable sounds. When we bring them over here, we just don't put the animals on the habitat and hope for the best. We try to take our time and make sure we do it the right way.
Kind of like work them into it?
We kind of work them into it.
And then let them spend a little bit of time here and there in it?
Absolutely. And this ride was really easy. It's a quiet ride. It was designed to be a quiet ride from the beginning. So when you brought these animals over, there really wasn't a lot of work to do. They were really calm with the ride.
You just kind
the
of
first
took
day.
to it?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
At one single time, I know you said we've got 7 cheetahs out now. How many cheetahs will you guys have simultaneously, like throughout the day? Does it change, or does it depend on the day or how hot it is?
It really will vary. That's a terrific question. Cheetahs live in what we call coalitions. Okay, you'll hear a pod or a pack or a flock. There's this called a coalition. We have 7 animals out here right now, 7 female cheetahs. Mm-hmm. Generally, females are solitary animals. So as these particular animals, which are about a year old, as they get older, they may become more solitary. Generally, that group will probably become a little smaller. So we have a group of 7, we have a group of 3, and we have a pair, and then we have a solitary animal who actually is not really solitary, but Kazi lives with Matani. So that's Kazi's companion.
Speaking of Kazi, when is Kazi going to be introduced to Cheetah Run? Like, how old will Kazi be?
Well, Kazi has actually spent quite a few hours over here on Cheetah Run with his
Oh, really?
with his companion Matani. They've been out here playing.
Oh, cool.
We have brought them out here every day, several times a day, getting them used to the habitat. We have a terrific back of house area that they can go to as well. Now during the day, at this time, they're down at Jammu Junction, so our guests can go over there and see Kazi and Matani. At some point, as they get a little older, they're going to be over here at Cheetah Run.